Hi folks, this is Nachiket signing in for today's topic, site layout based on physical site conditions. Remember, we are doing this presentation for low risk building and building built from scratch under the prime topic, mobilization work. So to understand the site layout, it's a very integral part of building construction process. It's a repetitive process and a very important activity. It needs precision and perfection as well, as each and every error conducted during the site layout is going to cost you like hell. Okay, so be very careful while doing a site layout job. So let's understand the schedule. Site layout schedule does have two phases, that is under substructure, then again in the superstructure level. Okay, so these are very clear to you. To understand deeply the site layout schedule, you have six phases, right? So under the six phases, first part, the post excavation site layout. Here you need to mark the footing portion. This rectangles you can see here in this image. These are marked footing layouts. Okay, so this is done post excavation. Then second is the post PCC. After excavation, sand filling, the PCC of 4 to 5 inch thickness PCC is done. After that, here you can see the thread center line has been given. A plumber will be put down and the center line will be marked. This is important to understand because here also the footing mesh and reinforcement footing mesh and column shall be placed. And here you can see pre-footing casting. Before the footing casting also, you have to check again whether the column is in proper position or not. If it is not, then it is going to costly, it is going to be very costly for you. Okay, after that it's very difficult to even manage the show. So it is quite integral, so do the layout again. Then after the footing, the plinth beam, again before the start, during the starter casting, you have to again check the layout, because after this everything is going to be identical. Okay, so in the post roof casting, again you have to do the layout to mark the center positions, like not the exactly the outer ones. The outer ones will be checked. For that, the vertical alignment will be checked, but the columns which are in the middle of the stages of the building, for that you have to mark again, so that there is no any error. If it is there, then you can manage it. Okay, so there are two methods of site layout, that is manual and total station layout. As you may not find total station every time, it is better to understand the manual site layout briefly. So here are the tools and tackles required for the manual site layout. These are wooden pegs, then ball hammer, thread ball, then your measuring tape, lime powder, tri-square, and water level pipe. Instead of water level pipe, you can use a auto level as well. Okay, then manual site layout. So this is a basically a blueprint reference that we are considering, center line plan. You can see here the basic features are the distance between these two axes. You can see here 12 feet 3 inches, 10 feet 7 inches, 3 feet 7 inches. These are the distance between the center line. So this A, B, B, C, C, D, D, E, E, these are x axis. 1, 2, 3, 4, these are the y axis. Okay, so the dimensions are quite important. You can see here the dimensions has been given from center line. How much distance is this, how much distance is this, these are all given in the center line plan. Okay, so these dimensions are quite important to understand. Then where the footings are placed, these features are also important. Then the last one is the diagonal. Via AutoGrid, manually just write down the various diagonals, like from this center line to this center line, what is the diagonal. It's not a rectangle though. You can see this is the total rectangle out here, right? So from this particular point to this point, what is the diagonal length, and from this point to this point, what is the diagonal length. Write it manually, so that after the layout is done, you can check it out manually. If it is right, then go ahead. Then let's understand the process of manual site layout. The first and important part is the level transfer. This is the most important thing that you have to do, because always the surface is not perfectly leveled. So by transferring the level to various portions, you can see here a pole is there, to there you can just transfer the level. Otherwise you can have a temporary structure, and there you can transfer the level. Otherwise you can just uh, have a pole here, so there you can also transfer the level. Then next is starting point. Starting point from the AutoCAD drawing, from the CAD drawing, you can understand that these measurements are given, the offsets are given. These are the offsets. This bold line is the boundary line, so inner boundary line. So from here it is y-axis is 3 feet away, and from in the x-axis line it is 2 feet 6 inches away from the boundary line. So by this way, just measure and get a perpendicular point, use a tri-square and get this point immediately. The starting point will help you to get the work done further. Place a temporary structure out there, use a tri-square. Then this is a set a right angle over here, and you can use the thread ball out in this. You can also do it manually by help of Pythagoras theorem. Like from here in the y you go for 3 feet, then in the x you go for 4 feet, then the hypotenuse shall be 5 feet. Okay, so if it is okay, then go ahead with the this setting the right angle. Go for the next activity, that is mark the center and peg mark it, and tie it via thread balls, via thread. Then after doing the center line marking, just check the diagonals whether it is right or wrong. If the diagonals are right, then manually start marking the footing. Use a stick of 4 feet or 5 feet length. If the footing size is 5 feet by 5 feet or 4 feet by 5 feet, use a stick of 4 feet 5 feet. Then from the center just mark it, and you can mark the entire points. Okay. The next is total station site layout. It is not that difficult though, but it's a skillful work. For that we will be having a separate field training out here via this video knowledge sharing basis. So here you just need to understand the basic principles how the total station site layout work. Okay, so here what you have to do is you have to create a benchmark. From that benchmark, that is the temporary benchmark TBM, just transfer the level to the entire plot. If there is boundary line of any other people or the other neighbors, then you can mark the this marking. You can level the transfer and write the level out there. Okay, so mark the road level. Then from the boundary points reading, based on that, create a geo reference. Okay, just take the coordinates of various boundary corners, then put that into the AutoCAD drawing that you have, that is called georeferencing. So after that, axis endpoint marking is done via the total station. Then manually put the peg to the point which has been located by total station. Then from that, rest center line marking is done. Okay, it is done manually. Even all the center markings, axis points are given via the total station. Okay, after that, check the diagonals. If it is correct, it will be correct. If it is correct, then go ahead with the manual footing marking. So this is it to the total station site layout. More on this, we'll have another training video that will cover a total station related topic. Okay, so thank you. See you up next in the substructure works.